Music is a remedy of the soul, a bridge between cultures, languages, and a range of emotions. Music therapy is a clinical and evidence-based healthcare profession that combines the power of music with skilled therapeutic interventions to address the physical, emotional, cognitive, and social needs of individuals. Through musical involvement in the therapeutic context, clients' abilities are strengthened and transferred to other areas of their lives. Music therapy also provides avenues for communication that can be helpful to those who find it difficult to express themselves in words. The expressive nature of music can bring self-awareness and insight to individuals who desire increased wellness in their lives, and can be a powerful mode of therapy for anyone interested in exploring their inner world through music. Valeria interviews Alain Isach. He is a PLPC clinical counselor and a board-certified music therapist, MTBC, based in New Orleans, Louisiana, grounded in mindfulness, present-based approaches, and wisdom traditions. Alain holds a bachelor degree in psychology from the Open University in Tel Aviv, 2008, associate's degree in music and movement therapy from Levinsky College of Music and Education, 2012, and MA in mindfulness transpersonal-based clinical counseling from Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado, 2025. Alain has served as student supervisor and adjunct professor teaching music therapy at Loyola University in New Orleans, 2022 to 2024. His professional and personal focus is to enable space for growth, healing, and expansion of awareness through present-based approaches, creativity, and genuine self-expression. Alain has worked with individuals experiencing mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, neurodiversity, substance use, and life transitions. In his sessions, Alain holds an integrative approach that supports people through present-based and mindfulness practices, music therapy, trauma-informed lens, as well as enabling space to reconnect with inner wisdom and resourcing. Meet Alain at alainmusictherapy.com. Here's the interview with Alain Isach.
Aloha, everyone. This is another A Quest for Wellbeing podcast interview, and my guest today is Alain Isach. He is a PLPC clinical counselor and a board-certified music therapist, MTBC, based in New Orleans, LA, grounded in mindfulness, present-based approaches, and wisdom traditions. So this is a brief introduction to you, Alain. The full bio will be on the podcast notes, also on the website. But the question that I usually begin all my conversations is very simple and yet very complex. Who is Alain, really? Who are you in this very present moment?
Ooh, okay, deep dive. Let me just tune in to where I am right now. Yeah, I'll start with my sensations. I feel some excitement and tension in my belly, so that's where I am right now. And I'm also feeling like I'm able to access a lot of joy and juggling many different hats and having joy with it, and embodying playfulness and connecting with everything that I do and with every person that I'm meeting, and trying to be in a dialogue with the world ongoing.
Yes, beautiful. I love how you almost like ask the body, right? In a sense, how are you feeling? So sensing the whole being, because we tend to come from our intellect a lot of times to answer that question.
Right.
And we just say, oh, I'm fine. Who am I? I'm a teacher. Like really quick, just the labels. Without sensing, with the whole being. This is truly beautiful. When did you learn to do this? Is it something that came natural to you? Or was it?
Oh, definitely not. I'm coming from a very heady place, very cognitive heavy place in my past. But I think in the last 10 years or so, I've been in a journey of kind of retaining, from the body, from the mind into in my emotional world, my body. And I think going to Naropa, which is a very special school in Boulder, Colorado, has taught me
Yeah.
how to kind of begin to go back to my body.
Right.
And so a lot of times as a therapist, when I do a check-in, I'll just talk about what body sensation are you feeling right now.
Right.
And the reason for that is because our body is the vessel that connects us to the present moment. So we want to step from our mind into our body and into our heart, into our soul. And the immediate access point is the body.
Yes, that's such an interesting idea for so many people, concept or experience even. How and why do you think we lost the connection with the body? Why did we become so
Mm.
mental and intellectual and mind driven?
I think it's very uncomfortable to be in the body because then you need to go through the waves, and the waves include joy, but also sorrow and,
Right.
fiery anger and
Yeah.
memories that we don't necessarily want to meet and different mirrors that the body puts in front of us of how we are, and we don't necessarily want to see that. It's not easy, it takes radical acceptance to be in that.
Radical acceptance. Does it come? How does it happen? Is that something that we need to be open to? What opens us up for that? That yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think what opens us up for that is well, first of all, there is a lot of things that need to be removed. So,
Right.
when we're talking about mindfulness, we are talking about being in the present moment, but with open curiosity and without judgments, and kind of just being that quality of warm friendliness
Yeah.
towards our experience, no matter, if it's like a bad one or what we would call negative or positive. There is kind of the famous Buddha story that the Mara, the great demon, kind of came to him and, tried to
Yeah.
seduce him, and he invited him for tea. So
Yeah.
that's what that's what we want to do. We want to invite all of our demons, all of our good feelings. We want to sit with them and be with them and just getting to know them because they're all part of us.
I love that, Alain. Invite them for tea. Invite them for tea. I love that. What kind of tea would that be? I'm just wondering here. uh,
Well, the tea that I'm drinking now is verbena and mint and ginger. So I will invite him for that.
why not? Why not? Yes, that sounds good to me too. So going back to your work, music therapy. When did you
Mm-hmm.
know it was a calling for you? Therapy, music,
Mm.
to bring them together.
Yeah, I finished my bachelor's in psychology in Israel, where I'm from originally, and I really wanted to become a clinical psychologist, and I tried for 3 years, and it was really challenging, and the demands were really high, and my grades were really good, but not good enough.
Right.
And so during those 3 years, I really wanted to be a therapist, but music became part of my personal healing process and just became a bigger part in my life. And I think one day I was kind of pacing in my house back and forth and thinking, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? I can't get into this path that I want to do.
Right.
And then I thought, wait, music and therapy, maybe there's such a thing, music therapy.
Yeah.
And I had this kind of big aha moment for myself. And
Right.
it's like, okay, that's now I know what I want to be. And I had, this great sense of, wow, okay, I reached a place. And so the next day I made phone calls and, found out all the details about how it is and talked to some people who are music therapists. And after a few days, kind of finding out more information, I felt like, oh, there is not a lot of money in that, and
Right.
it's hard to get in, and kind of the excitement faded out a bit.
Yeah.
But, within the span of like the next year, I just felt it still inside of me. It didn't really let go of me, that idea. So the
Mm.
next year, I did everything I needed to do and got accepted into music and movement therapy, because in that school that I went to, the perception was also body oriented, that there is no music without movement.
Ah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and just today I read,
Yeah.
there's a wonderful book that I'm reading about the mysticism of sound and music by a Sufi master from Pakistan.
Right.
And he's saying that in Sanskrit, the word music is Sangita. And Sangita means three things. It means singing, it means dancing, and it means playing. So it's one word that captures all of it. So they're all one part of the same thing.
Wow. That so resonate with me, right? There's no music without movement. It's one. Yeah, what comes to me too, it's harmony. I think about, obviously, right? It's very
Yes,
much so
yes, yes.
harmony, everything coming together as one and working together, moving like the ocean. Like all the drops of water just becoming this whole huge a body of water that can be separated, but it looks so much better when when it's all together in unison, right? Harmony.
Yes, and you can see the whole inside every tiny drop. That's also part of it. That's the net that is weaved in this world.
Right. Oh my God, Alon. I just love music. I mean, everybody loves music. That's the truth. Can you talk to me? We briefly discussed for a moment about this. It's almost like the influence of music and how it goes into how the body receives music. All the
Hmm.
cells is just, there's so many ways that we have so many receptors for music in our bodies. So talk to me about
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, there's so many things that
Yeah.
so many angles to approach, but the way that we perceive music is multidimensional, right? So as far as the brain, we perceive kind of the creative, emotional parts in the right side, and then the kind of more punctual, structural part right in the left side. And then we have the body, right? Our bones are conductors. I hope I'm saying the right word. So they receive the vibrations,
Yeah.
and our ears, so that goes into our body, and there is a sense of resonance, right, that
Right.
it goes through us, or vibrations, right? So
Right.
it's listening to music is a whole body experience. There's a famous, I'm forgetting her name, a Scottish percussionist. She's wonderful,
Oh.
and I once saw an interview with her, and she's deaf, and she
Oh,
plays percussion, and
amazing.
she talks about how her teacher, she came to him as a deaf child, and she was like, I want to learn to be a percussionist and play the marimba. And
Yeah.
he did not tell her, you don't know how to, you can't hear, so you can't be a musician. He taught her to, take off her shoes and feel it in her bones, because the bones, you can
Mm,
feel the rhythm through that.
mm,
And, I had also an experience as a music therapist, very brief one, working with a deaf, I think he was also blind, I want to say, and person. And
yeah.
I was playing a piano, and I just had him, I put my hand on his hand and put his hand on the upper part of the piano. So he felt the vibrations.
Mm,
And so music is not only for the ears, people
right.
say music to my ears, but music goes everywhere in our body.
Right.
And yeah, and just to kind of add another thing that ties to the previous thing that we talked,
Yeah.
in that book that I was talking about by Hazrat Inayat Khan,
Mhm.
um, so he talks about that all the musician masters that he knows are also very harmonious people, because um, they implement the principles of music in their life and in the way they walk through life,
Wow.
and so they achieve a state of harmony.
Right. Ah, so Wow, that also makes a lot of sense because they are
Hmm.
they have this intimate connection to music. It's so intimate that, of course, it becomes an extension of almost like become what they are. It's just they embody that harmony from music, then they pass that on. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah,
So
I would even say the opposite. It's not that it becomes them, but they channel it. They become a vessel for that.
right. Oh, that's channeling. That makes, of course, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course. So it's going through them. Oh, I see, because they're so open to that kind of
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
reality. Oh,
yeah.
wow. There's something about sound. Now I know we're speaking of music, and for something to become musical or music, it has to be many parts, have to have many parts to it, right? To create that harmony, many pieces coming together in harmony. But then there's also
Hmm.
the sound, the sound of a voice, sound. There's
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
about that, like, of course, the voice is an instrument, violin, and we know that. So
Yes,
that I,
the most vulnerable one, I'll say, for me.
oh, why is that?
Hmm.
Why vulnerable?
Well, I'll just talk about myself and then maybe I'll expand it a bit. But for me, I'm still on the journey of discovering my voice. I used to run a lot of vocal groups
Mm,
in various places, and my whole purpose was engaging people in a musical journey with their voice, an improvisational one,
yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
And so I used my voice insecurity to show them, look, you see, I just started to do this toning thing and I missed the note 4 times.
Uh,
Did you notice that? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I know I'm not perfect and I'm just going to go with that. But just feeling comfortable with my voice, dropping my voice, um, clearing it from cynicism, and yeah, really connecting to my voice is a journey that I'm going through.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Thank you for sharing
But
that.
I'll
Yeah, thank
and I'll say, even in my sessions, because I play so many instruments,
you.
if I'm feeling anxious, I'll come and surround myself with instruments
Yeah.
because I'm not feeling confident enough to just lead with my body and my voice.
Mm,
And that's
mm,
a music therapist's defense mechanism.
yeah.
And so when I feel grounded, centered, and confident, I don't need to come with an instrument. I can come with my body and my voice, and then maybe an instrument would want to join in, but maybe not because whatever comes up is where we are.
Right. Oh, I love that too. So it feels to me like this is the work of knowing oneself. It's knowing yourself. That's the journey. Does it ever end when it comes to healing and knowing oneself? Are they one and the same? Knowing your true self and healing?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that.
yeah, but generally speaking, I really don't know, but my perception is that it's a ascending spiral or descending.
Yeah.
And so we always meet kind of the same themes, but from a different place because we're ever changing. And once we stop changing, we move into the next big shift. So yeah,
Yeah. So
that's the way I see it.
this is the realm of changing. But I have, from my own spiritual experiences, I have
Hmm.
kind of perceived, um, let's say, a reality that doesn't change.
Hmm.
The one that actually is the one that's recording, that is remembering, that is observing what changes.
Mm.
So, have you heard
Hmm.
about that before?
Yes, of course. And yes, I think the way that I see it, both those parts coexist simultaneously. So there is that,
Right.
the Atman or the neshama or the chaya yechida, which are the two upper levels of the soul in like the inner
Right.
Jewish knowledge, for example,
Right.
that are infinite and without beginning and never changing and
Right.
always just this radiant light.
Yes.
But then it's always entangled, not necessarily in a bad way, with these other layers of existence in
Right.
which things are finite and limited. And that and those two, that's the beauty of where we are, because the playfulness, this is the playfulness that comes in, is how do we connect to that, pure place out of this very limited, very, earthy, um, shadowy place. So
Right.
so the playfulness between those two parts, that's what brings the joy of being able to ascend from a very limited place.
Ah, that's so beautiful. And with that, I want to mention the topic, the intersection between the nonverbal resonance and playfulness in therapy and
Mm-hmm.
life, both. So yes, so the more playful we become with the changing reality, so the more, in a sense, we become aware of the unchanging one. Or perhaps we already, well, we have to be already, in a sense, already connected with the connected in the sense of perception. Like I feel, I know, I I realize that there's something here that perceives what changes. So now it's like, wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute, there's no limits to this. It's just a play. We'll keep changing anyway. So why am I taking anything seriously? But that is said and done, right? Because we live in societies, we live in structures, and within ourselves, even our minds, our identities. So we can't
Mm-hmm.
really play all the way. I wish we could. I wish we could, but we can't. So talk to me about
Well,
playfulness, yeah, within your work.
mhm. Yeah, I'll start with a quote that I went recently to a clowning workshop, and the teacher, a wonderful teacher,
Yeah,
taught us this saying from. She quoted it from a New York clown, but for me it's very enlightening life wisdom, so I want to share it.
right.
And she talked about moving in life in the speed of fun.
Mm,
So moving in the speed of fun. And then she said, what does it mean, the speed of fun?
mm.
And that means louder than your inner critic and faster than your fear.
Wow, I love it.
And so I'll give an example of just how I use it in therapy, because,
Yeah,
for example, I'm also a school counselor in the middle school here in Louisiana. And and sometimes, I'll talk to clients, and they're having all kinds of relationship with people, and they're asking what's right, what's the right way to go, and about with their relationships. And the one thing I tell them is, if something happens between the two of you, you need to feel in your belly, like, does this feel good? Do you feel joy, or do you feel like your belly, kind of shrinking, or like, not responding in an open way?
right,
And that's part of moving in the speed of fun, teaching people how to respect their inner wisdom and their inner guidance, and tune into that, right?
right.
And then listen, does this feel fun? Does this feel something I want to do? Does this make me move, right?
Yeah,
Or not? And that's a criteria for us to know what's the right way to go, because I don't want to give advice, right? I want to help people, just like I want people to do for me, to find my way into things in an experiential, genuine way.
right. Wow. I mean, there's so much wisdom there, so much wisdom. And what I call wisdom, I have, of course, I talk to a lot of people, I read a lot, so I come across so many things. But one of the things that I
Mm-hmm.
resonates with me, when that's why I mentioned wisdom now, because somebody said wisdom is what works. Wisdom is
Mm,
what works. So everything that you're speaking of, it feels to me like, that works. The fun part, especially, that really works. And it has been my own experience. And that's why my platforms, everything has been inspired by this idea of joy, that we can bring this back to the
mm-hmm.
body, and like a child, and kind of experience each moment as a fresh thing, like, oh, new thing.
Yes.
I had never been here before. This is different, and kind of be open hearted and open minded. It's everything changes though. I don't know, it feels like a
Mm-hmm.
practice. Do you feel like it is joy and this fun? It's a practice for us because of our blockages in our programmings.
Definitely, yes, definitely. I would say it's so like the way I spoke about joy right now, or fun, it's an indicator of what we should step into, right? As long as it's not joy through bypassing, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I can just, engage in substances, but it feels really good. But it's, sometimes it can be in a way of bypassing, right?
Right.
There is
Right.
right and wrong usage for everything.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so, yeah, I think it's really important to have it as a practice where we're like, what feels joyful, but also sometimes, pointing out, that kind of brings us to humor, to find the clown in things where we're
Mm,
like, what is the game here, right? Where do I introduce playfulness in
yeah.
this situation? So I'll give an example.
Mm,
As a music therapist, I worked many years with kids and adults and adolescents on the autism spectrum, right?
yeah.
And so one of the things that, one of the common features is there is some rigidness, and there is kind of a form of OCD, right? Some ceremonies and rituals that are very rigid.
Yeah.
And so the way that I would work with a lot of them would be, first, I want to match your energy. I want to meet you where you are. So first, I'm meeting you in the present moment, right? You're organizing dump trucks according to colors in like very specific shapes. I'm there with you.
Yeah.
We'll go with it all the way. And then I'll introduce what Winnicott calls minimal frustrations, where I'm like, maybe on accident,
Mm-hmm.
one of the trucks will be in an odd shape or odd angle.
Yeah.
But then it's part of the play, and it's after I establish trust, right? Because you can step into, that's another thing. Speaking of Winnicott, is, according to when I'm saying Winnicott, I'm talking about Donald Winnicott from object relations theory within psychoanalysis,
Yeah.
which he is a big, I'll just say a few words about him.
Yeah.
He's a big bridge between psychoanalytic world and all the expressive art therapies. So art therapy and music therapy rely on his kind of philosophical notions, because for him, a playing man, right? It's the true self and genuine expression. And it's the key, I'm quoting here, it's the key to emotional and psychological well being.
Mm,
But he's talking a lot about what do we need to be, or where do we need to be emotionally and mentally in order to play.
yeah.
So, first, you need to establish a state of trust. You need to feel comfortable and safe in a place that you can be yourself and play, right?
Yeah.
And so there is so much that goes into play. And another thing that I really like about play, people call humans Homo sapiens, right? The thinking human.
Mm.
But there is a Dutch philosopher, I'm forgetting his name, but he said that what characterizes humans is Homo ludens, which is the playing man.
Oh, really? Never heard about that.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that definition, because this is what makes us human, and this is what helps us, if we're talking about developmental theories. So the child's ability to play and openly explore his environment is how he learns. This is the how a child learns so many milestones, right?
Right.
And for that, he needs a holding environment, right? He needs
Yes.
a holding environment where he feels held and supported, and he knows he can make mistakes. And if we're
Mm.
kind of introducing clown in here, so not only
Mhm.
make mistakes but celebrate mistakes.
Oh, I love that too. Oh my God. Okay. So one of the things that I know that you spoke of a specific type of, let's say, community, the neurodivergent. And I
Hmm.
think I have some of that too. But for me, every time I think about, from my own experience too, joy, this playfulness, this engaging with life in a learning way, with fun, it doesn't bypass fear, but kind of goes through fear, because I learned to access my true self, and then I become very creative. So it doesn't
Hmm.
really has to do with safety anymore. It's almost like, oh, my safe place is already that place of being infinite, being limitless. I know already that. I realize that there's something here, a reality that's infinite.
Hmm.
So, I'm already free to play. So, and that in
Yes.
a way, I don't know. That's what happens. I don't know if you have experienced this with your clients and yourself, but how does it sound to
Hmm.
you when you hear that?
I feel like what I'm called to say about that is I do feel like there is that again, like we said, there is those, the infinite level and the finite
Yeah,
level, the limited level, they coexist and at the same time, right?
right.
Um, so I think the same about this because we need that base of safety and trust to be able to tune into that place of us that already knows how to play, right? That is
Mm,
still in that, in music therapy. So there is a modality called Nordorf Robbins, which is mainly improvisational, and it's Nordorf and Robbins. They're two music therapists that started, and they worked mainly with very severely um, kind of high levels of people on the autism spectrum
right.
in the early 50s and 60s. And they were talking about the concept of music child. So we're trying to find the music child. And their belief was very humanistic based. So their belief was there is a music child within everybody.
Right.
And we just need to know how to unleash it. So, if people say, oh, I don't know how to play music. I don't know. I don't have a sense of rhythm,
Right.
right? And so they don't touch it. They're like, no, this is for musicians, people that learn how to play. And I think that's, the way that I see it, music is a form of playfulness.
Right. Yeah.
So if you have a heart that's beating and you have that open curiosity, you will make music.
Mm,
And that's why, for example, the instruments that I come with to sessions are a lot of times percussive melodic instruments that are very friendly that you can just touch it and it will make a sound. The production of sound
yeah.
is not a big thing. It's very friendly and accessible.
Yes. I love how the being accessible for some people, it's very,
Hmm.
I mean, you just facilitate that in a beautiful way because just by touching something makes a sound and then will immediately catches our attention, right? If we are ready to
Yes.
explore, then magic happens. So,
Yes. And I'll say one more thing just to also tie in another piece that we talked earlier about the nonverbal.
yeah.
So for me, that accessing the nonverbal as a music therapist, that's exactly that's the equivalent of what I would do as a mindfulness therapist somatically, right? I'll tune into the body to see what's present, right?
Yeah.
And so in music therapy, if I drop into the nonverbal, right? So we're not talking now. We're making music. We're using our voice. We're using just our hands to make body percussion.
Yeah.
I help people and I help myself, not only people, to drop from the mind, from the self consciousness about how am I playing? Am I sounding good?
Right.
Right? This is not about good and bad. So we're
Mm,
dropping to the body, to the somatic level, to the non-verbal level through using. So, for example, if I'll do a toning experience, right, you just make long vowel sounds. So I'm incorporating breath and you're making a voice. So you're resonating within you, and the humming is kind of it's the same way we were soothed as infants,
yeah.
so that kind of tunes into that and touches into that,
Right.
and also we're kind of out of our mind and back into our body and our heart.
Mm, mm,
And
yeah.
I'll give another example. Sometimes I'll do kazoo groups. I don't know if you know kazoo, the instrument.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and you don't need to know how to play it. You just do and it makes the sound,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I'm saying, okay, we're not talking, we're just kazooing with each other.
Yeah.
And so you hear only intonations of words, you don't hear words.
Mm,
And so that allows you to communicate on a very emotional, gestural level.
yeah.
And especially for some people that it's hard for them to get gestures. So that can be very helpful for communication skills.
Oh, I see. That's so true. So yeah, I would love for you to explore more that realm of the signs. Like, what does it look like when we are in that stage of non-verbal resonance in playfulness? What would that? I would love for you to give us some markers for that.
Mm. So I think as far as what happens to us at that stage.
Yeah.
So first of all, our ability to attune, right? So we're in harmony. Okay.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to, we can tap into our instincts, our own innate wisdom,
Right.
right? Our intuitive parts,
Yeah.
our calm nervous system. Okay, so we're able to tap into all of that. We're able to tap into our playfulness and be in the moment. And if something introduces himself right now, I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
I can approach it. I can be curious about it. So it allows me to step into the world with more joy, right?
Right.
When I'm in all of those things.
Right.
And another form of attunement that is very important here is the relational piece. So
Right.
I'm able to tune into whether it will be someone playing music with me, someone talking to me, someone emoting with me. So my ability to resonate with someone else,
Right.
right, is growing.
That also makes a lot of sense. You know what I thought of, that you as a music therapist, then you are, we talked about your voice before. So
Mm-hmm.
you're already, as an instrument, as a human instrument, already engaging with that nonverbal resonance and verbal, both
Mm-hmm.
sound and nonverbal. You're already kind of almost like setting the stage in a way for, for the healing seed to grow, isn't it? So you become part of that soil, part of that.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And that kind of brings me to, there's two kind of main deviations within music therapy, which is music as therapy and music in therapy.
Mm,
So what you mentioned is music as therapy, right? So
yeah.
by the mere fact that we're able to tune to the nonverbal, to the creative, to the playful, that is therapy on its own. I don't need to talk.
Right.
In Northrop Robbins, for example, they don't process, they don't talk, they just make music together.
Right.
Then they do a goodbye song and wrap up the session.
Right.
Um,
Huh.
but music in therapy means that we're going through this experience, which is presence based and attuned and creative and playful. But then we step out of it and we observe it. And we're like, what happened there? What were the themes that came out of you? How did you feel? And then we try to, the next stage is, how does that meet you outside of music?
Right.
Okay, so how does that resonate with your communication style, the way that you played with me right now? Then the next phase will be, how do I generalize what happened here to your life? So how can you maybe make a change or make this experience informative to the way that you walk in your life?
Oh, I love that. Well, because is that the goal? Or wouldn't that be the goal, Alon, to that, so we become an instrument for that alignment, for that harmony to come in, the healing, universal, infinite energy to flow? Is that the goal?
Yes, I think, if we're talking about kind of ultimate goals,
Yes.
sort of speak,
Yeah.
um, so we're talking about a state where we are able to um, be attuned to our inner parts
Yeah.
and to what's beyond us,
Yeah.
and at the same time knowing that this is not coming from me, this is coming
Mm,
through me,
mm,
right? So
yeah.
so that's one part, and the second part is, nothing stays with me. So all these gifts of
Mm,
joy, of emotions, of goodness that I'm getting, it's not meant for me to hoard it. It's meant for me to
right.
pass it on. So
Huh.
they say about Abraham's tent that it was open to four directions. So it's like
Yeah.
people could come in, people could come out, and
Yeah.
so that's the level of openness to life and to other people. So
Mm,
that's where we're keeping the cycle, we're keeping the dialogue, we're keeping the back and forth. Yeah.
yes. That that makes me think about surrender. That makes me think about
Mm.
doing the healing work profoundly, in the sense of
Mm-hmm.
removing the layers of conditioning, of trauma,
Mm-hmm.
of programming. So, from your experience, aside from the sages, because I know they
Hmm.
that's all they were born to do
Yeah.
anyway. They knew from the very beginning, right, that that was their calling here in this world.
I mean, depends on the stage. Some people, it took them, they had to get, a lot of pain and suffering to
It's
realize that.
true.
So not all of them were born that way.
Yeah, thank you for saying that too. That gives us a lot of hope for most of us, right? I think, oh, I cannot be
For
like
sure.
Jesus, so forget about it. I cannot be like Abraham. I cannot be like Buddha.
Yeah.
So no. I know you mentioned the Sufis before, Sufi teacher. There's something about Sufism. I mean, there's so much wisdom out there from all cultures, Violon, that's just incredibly rich. I mean, they're all saying the same thing, basically. They're all expressing truth in their own language, in their own way. It's so beautiful to see.
Yeah. It's all about variations. If we're speaking about this in the music language, so it's all about variations and accents. So
Okay.
they all had the same kind of divine um, understanding or a message, but then the variations and the things that every tradition accented different parts,
Right.
and that creates that kind of rainbow of colorful different various perceptions.
Yes, it's just, gosh, I just love that realm, the exploration of that realm, even in conversations. It feels to me like honoring the sacredness, honoring God, honoring
Hmm.
the infinite. I just,
Hmm.
if it's just something that is a choiceless choice. It's like a calling. I have to do it or I die. One of those two. One of those two. I got no choice. No choice. I do it or I
Yeah,
die.
and yeah, I appreciate you for saying the word no choice, because we're living in a culture that kind of like makes like our ability to choose and having options as like it's like the holy grail.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the opposite. Like
Mm,
having no choice sometimes pushes us more forward
mm,
than having lots of choices.
mm,
Choices can be paralyzing,
mm,
rather than like, oh, this is drawing me. If you're feeling like the sirens, kind of in the Greek mythology, that like
mm.
I can't help it. I'm just drawn to it.
That's it. And that I think that's the difference between a calling, a spirit calling, a soul calling, and desire, right? Coming from egoic mind and the individual choice, as you said, coming even through
Mm,
intuition in a sense. But yes, that to me is a huge difference. Like for me, when I hear the call of my soul to do
hmm.
something, I just do it. And I might not have these skills yet, or I might not know what the next step is and how I'm going to make that happen, but I just trust it. Okay, I gotta follow this because I have no choice but to do it. It's just so powerful. Have you experienced that too yourself?
Hmm. Yes,
You
yes,
have.
actually, pretty. Yeah, recently, yeah, I think when I'll speak to that, I think the ability to step into something that might be like big or typically would be scary,
Yeah.
but then suddenly you find yourself, oh, I feel no fear here. I actually have this inner knowing that this is good for me,
Mm,
and I'm able to step into that. Is yes, it's so precious. It's a gift. I don't think it comes, some things, you need to work hard to clear the path and to prepare yourself to receive whatever gift the world is giving you.
yeah.
And but then I think after a lot of work, there comes times where we can step into something and saying, oh, I know, that's it. I don't need to like, wander around. This is it. And you're walking straight to it.
Yes, right. With that kind of trust that it might sound
Mm,
irrational to some people. That's the thing about rationality versus irrationality. There's a lot of praise to logic, right, Alon, these days, being
yeah.
scientific, being, oh, do the right thing, follow culture. You got to do it. Oh, this is something that I really do not assign
Hmm.
myself
Hmm.
to. I can't do it. I just go my own way. In a sense, my own way, the spirit way, the soul way.
Yeah.
And it always works.
And I, mhm. Yeah. And I feel like, rational. There is different types of rationality. There is
Yeah.
kind of mind rationality, but then there is also, our intuitive brain and our gut brain, and
Mhm.
our nervous system. I don't know. There's different parts of our body that have other brains other than our rational mind. So there's other brains in the works, and they control us, or guide us, or we're influenced by them, not less, probably even more than our rational brain. So
Right.
it just depends what type of rationality you're following.
That is true. I just have we're almost at the end. Gosh, I could talk to you forever, but I could, but I have this question about, oh, what was the question? Rationality versus not rationality. Oh, yes. So, see, do you resonate with the idea? Like for me, when I know it's a choiceless choice, I'm called to do a lot of things. My whole life has been this way. It's very mystical, and I'm
Hmm.
very familiar with that realm. So I'm not afraid of just taking the chance, doing what I'm
Hmm.
called
Hmm.
to do. And I know the difference is love. So as long as it's not
Mm.
violent and it's soft and it's coming from love, that's my that's my order in a sense. Like this is it. I'm being ordered to do summit to do something, but I know it's true because it allows me to be softer than soft. That's
Mm.
how I know.
So you're saying that I love that you're introducing this concept, and yeah, I appreciate you for that a lot. And yeah, so are you connecting love with softening?
Yes, softening,
Mm-hmm.
surrender, softening, and in every way, in a sense. Even like when I hear music, like recently, oh my God, I've been listening. I just paid attention to it. I listened to a song, guitar song that was so
Mm-hmm.
soft and so angelic. I don't know, we describe as angelic, but touched that
Mm-hmm.
place in me that is so much softer than softer that I just
Mm-hmm.
melted. I start crying. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. That's what I'm here for. I want to honor the softness. I know some people say it's the divine feminine, all these things, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just God itself, isn't it? It's all about union and, bringing this beautiful, I'm not
Yeah.
pushing anything away. God, everything is God, creation of God. But there's something about joy and, this harmony that we speak of that has to do with softness and love for some reason.
Yes, yeah. For me, I connect softness to, yeah, also something that is comfortable to land on. Like a safety net, right?
Um,
I can fall here and it's okay.
yeah.
I'll still something will catch me in a soft way, right?
Yes.
But also soft is movable. It's flexible, or in other words, you can play with it, right?
Mm,
It's not rigid. There is movement there.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, so softness, and to me it
Yeah.
also connects. So a lot of times, connecting it to the movie in the speed of fun, a lot of times the way that we experience something that's good or bad in our, for me it's in my belly, but in our body
Yeah.
it's not good and bad that we experience lightness and heaviness, right? Some things draw us down and they make us constrict,
Right.
and some things make us like open up and feel lightedness in our, inside of us. And so for me, that sensing of lightness is connecting to something soft.
Yes, a billion times to that. Absolutely. The
Mm.
playfulness, the lightness. Yes, yes, and yes. It's all connected. It's almost like the ability to dance with life, to move with life
Mm.
as life itself. So you're not fighting anything or pushing away anything, but kind of moving with it all the time. There's something about
Yeah.
that. Easier said than done, but for most people, right? It's not as easy.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not easy, and yes, there is so much work to be done. But I feel like sometimes we need to push against things, right? It's not always,
Hmm.
rainbows and happy,
Yes,
happy.
right.
So,
Yes.
but like also when we push against something, like through what part of us are we doing that? Are we pushing with
Right.
like,
Right.
with fire that is tainted with anger, or are we
Mm,
pushing with this like, oh, let's see, challenging myself, finding the game in it,
mm.
so there's different ways of pushing against, but it's definitely a force that is needed um,
Yeah.
to get to that softness,
Oh, I
and
love
it,
that.
yeah.
Oh, I love that. So basically, I heard that before. Alon, somebody said, I remember talking to somebody who is highly intelligent. And then I said, oh, I just love the idea of kindness, being kind. And then he said to me, oh,
Hmm.
sometimes you have to cut like a knife. You cannot be kind all the
Yeah.
time. I was like, it was a shock for me at that time. I think it was 5 years ago. Yeah, it was long ago. I was a shock. I remember listening to him say that. You got to cut like.
Well, because I think because when you're, the realms that you're talking about, for example, how you live your life, so you have so much openness, but then you're also it makes you very sensitive because you're very impressionable, right? Because
Right.
the smells and the touches and the sounds, it all feels so good. But then
Yeah.
what if there is an energy that can kind of threaten that? Then you need to kind of, put that boundary so it won't penetrate. So things that you're not interested in penetrating you, that they will stay out. So that's where the pushing against and the boundary part comes.
Thank you for saying that. So that's the key, right? Boundaries, creating boundaries. You need to be firm. We need to be, yeah, we need to push. You're right about that. But for me, always goes back to the flexibility again. Even if when I
Mm-hmm.
meet something that seems to be inflexible, very fixed, and very hard to move through, people and things, and there's so many things, and the systems that we live in, all
Mm-hmm.
these things. So I always go back to that flexibility. So again, it goes back to
Yes.
movement again, so I can dance with that. And let's negotiate then. My voice is always the same. It doesn't change. It's firm
Mm-hmm.
though. It's very firm at times, but it doesn't, that
Mm-hmm.
softness is still there. It's always there, always the foundation. But of course, with
Yes.
intelligence, yeah, and in making that movement almost like being seen, being known, you are dealing with the force that is soft, 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 but also very, very potent and very powerful. So you can't,
Yes.
intelligent in a sense, like life itself, Violon, highly intelligent. You can't.
Yeah, highly intelligent because we know that this is um, kind of big forces that we're working with. So a lot of respect, right, to all the good and the angelic parts, but also to all the shadow and
Mm.
demonic parts. So they're all big forces that we need to pay respect to.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that too. I would love to have another conversation just about that. Like how
Mm.
do you respect, yeah, the forces of violence, right? Somebody who or people in cultures that they abuse children or women and the planet and the
Yeah.
animals and all that. Where do you find in yourself the respect for that? Oh, that's a tough one. Really tough.
That is a tough one.
Isn't it? um,
Mhm.
yeah, thank you so much for this beautiful encounter, honoring again something that is beyond you and me, something that
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
we need in this reality in order to go back to that playfulness and kind of have fun together and play this
Mhm.
music of
Yeah.
life, be just at least be aware of it. So thank you so much for your part in it, for being open to let that flow through you in the way it does. I love music, so thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot.
I want to mention your services, Alain. So you offer individual music therapy, guitar lessons, and adapted guitar lessons. You offer online lessons through telehealth, and you also group music therapy. Did I miss anything?
Yes, I'm also, a provisionally licensed clinical counselor. So I offer also individual counseling services. Yes, so all of those, and also workshops of, music and mindfulness.
Oh,
That's also something that's in the works.
oh, wonderful. That everything, even the new events that you just spoke of, the new offerings will be on your website, alonmusictherapy.com. All that
Mm,
there will be.
yes, and also I'm part of a practitioner directory. It's called Caring Practitioner Circle, and you can contact me also through there.
Oh, wonderful.
And Psychology Today.
Okay, so you got 2 more. I'll get those links from you later, and then I'll add here and send to my team.
Okay.
Thank you so much again for your beautiful presence, for saying yes to this conversation, and we'll talk soon. We'll be in touch again. Bye for now.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye.
my dear. Bye. Oh my God.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Alain Isach and his work, please visit alainmusictherapy.com.